Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your host, Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining me is my co-host, Dr. Professor and Poet,
Kimberly and Southwick.
Hi, Kim.
And hi. And this evening, we are joined by two wonderful guests. Firstly, senior correspondent at Vox.com.
Alex Abad-Santos.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
And secondly, we have staff writer at ComicBook.com.
Jamie Jirak.
Hi, Jamie.
Hooray.
Hi.
So we're here to talk about Hawkeye episode 5. Before we dig into it, Jamie, what was your reaction to the episode when you saw it?
Oh my god, I loved it so much. Especially Yelena and Kate interacting is just are you kidding me? That ending. I don't know if it tops episode 3 for me, but it comes pretty close.
Yeah. Alex?
Give me Florence Pugh all the time. Give me a Florence Pugh MCU. You know what? Give me an entire MCU where Florence Pugh plays every single Marvel character and supporting character. Give me Orphan Black, but like all of Florence Pugh.
Yes.
Kim, what'd you think?
I loved it, especially the beginning, and I will get into that. And I probably won't be able to stop talking about stuff having to do with the beginning. But yeah, I felt like it was the perfect penultimate episode considering the series we are watching.
I'm going to be the grump. I'm going to say, because I loved it. I think it's because I loved this episode so much. The MCU shows have a weird pacing problem. And I wish that this was the show. Like, I wish it wasn't like, ooh, these last 2 episodes were packing in all these characters. And I just wish we had a little bit more time with Yelena because, God, she is so fucking charming. And I wish, when Hawkeye's like, I don't want to see the costumes right now. And it's like, but we've already seen them in the promo images. Just put on the fucking costumes. That was my only issue, but I loved this episode. And we'll start with Kim, talk about that opening, because I know we both were texting about how much we loved it.
Yeah, so I was the last person in our group text to watch this episode, so I was able to actually talk about it. And that I didn't really realize what was happening in the very beginning. So, we've all seen it. We have the 2 widows and approaching this person they think is a widow, but turns out really not to be. And then, they do the red spray stuff, whatever. Yelena goes to the bathroom for some reason at one point and gets blipped. And it took me a second to realize that's what was happening. And I thought that was good. I mean, it was very obvious once I realized that's what was happening, and then when she came back and once I realized I had to pause, and I paused probably for a very long time, considering that I had just started this episode, because as far as I know, we have never seen from a first person singular experience like that, somebody getting blipped, losing that 5 years of their life, and then returning.
Yeah.
So that we got to see what that was like, where for them, it's literally nothing.
Right.
I was just it's not that hard to do television wise. Right. But man, just the acting in that, even though it was only we only get a little bit afterwards, but just to see it happen was very moving to me, and a lot.
Yeah. I was emotional at that scene, and I do like that they are showing us a lot of the characters, what happened to them, either during the blip or with the blip.
I do wonder with the blip, it's a good thing that really rich white woman didn't renovate her house, because what if you get blipped into a wall, right?
The bathroom did change, but luckily not too much.
Right.
You don't want to be blipped into a double vanity, and you're just well, fuck.
I like that they're building it up, because we saw Monica come back in WandaVision, but she was asleep, so it's different. It was and the chaos of the hospital was so crazy, and this is just somebody's house. I want every show to show us a different version of this, because it's crazy.
Yeah.
I could see people getting annoyed with it, but I think it works. I agree with you, Jamie. Give me every fucking show we get. Show me these people being blipped and blipped back, right?
Or show us people who aren't blipped. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's Ms. Marvel or She-Hulk when it comes up, show us the people around you getting blipped and you coming back with someone in your home and being like, oops, like, I can't believe this happened.
So at first, even though I know they said that they had the timestamp, I was like, oh, is she going in the bathroom because they're talking about Natasha and Natasha's dead? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, she's not dead yet. But then when she comes back and she's like, I have to find Natasha, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I felt so bad for her, especially after, like, you know, all the shit we know from Black Widow. Like, Natasha was kind of like her only stable, like the only rock in her life, right?
Yes. All of that. I mean, especially when she went to the bathroom because they were talking about her for sure. I was like, ooh, and again, it said 2018, but right. I wasn't doing the math in my head. I just knew that it was like before now. So I really thought maybe she was like trying to control her grief. Like she knew what had happened as well.
But I didn't want to tell them, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've gotten really good at time math and MCU math. So it was like 2018, 2 years after Black Widow. It's, oh my God, the blip, it's about to happen. I think when you write about it enough, it's like, oh man, I don't know when things in my own life happen, but I'm really good at that MCU timeline.
That's totally fair. And a thing that I wanted to like see what everyone thought that I liked was that it was like a cold open, but like it was so weird that the cold open happened before the even Marvel title cards or the previously on. So it almost felt like, you know how lots of times with the movies, they'll put out like a prequel comic. It almost felt like that, like the prequel comic to the Hawkeye TV show or something. But I thought that was really cool that it happened almost outside of the show.
I literally said out loud, ooh, I like that. So
right?
I thought it was a cool choice.
Because that's not something they've done before with these shows, right? I don't think.
No, even Monica's cold open was after the last time on, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about this because I don't know as much about television as a lot of the people that you have on as guests here, but I do feel like Disney / the MCU are playing with what it means to watch television. And that's why this pacing is so weird. Like these are clearly the TV shows that they've been putting out are clearly just like, you know, they're not normal television shows because they're part of this larger verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even in the movies, they had like the little end credit scenes, which is a movie thing. But still, I feel like in a way they're like, they're able to play with the genre of television because of the fact that these are just things that are part of this larger universe that they have. So they're able to do something like this before the credits, before the previously on. And it's meaningful that they did that, even though we can't exactly pinpoint to exactly why it's meaningful necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, you write about TV a lot. What do you think?
What do you mean? Like, I feel like, okay, so with like Disney and Marvel, I do feel like there is like a weird, like you guys mentioned, like there's a weird pacing problem. And it's just like, are you just making like splitting up a movie into like 6 parts? Or are you just like giving us like sequential episodes and actually making it work? I think we've seen like stuff do really well. Like I think Loki was did that really well. I think Captain America. Yeah, well, he's like Captain America now, but like Falcon Winter Soldier was kind of like a flop when it came to that. I don't know. I do think the cold open was very effective. I think anytime you blip, like if you blip and you do something dramatic, it really serves like a cold open. It really works well in a cold open. So yes, absolutely, very great. And obviously it featured Florence Pugh. So
yeah,
how can you say anything bad about what happens with Florence Pugh?
They can't do something like this all the time or it loses its effectiveness would be my last point about the cold open. So I think that they chose a good time to do it.
Yeah. So then we go into the episode. We get Kate. And I gotta say, I thought Kate coming home, like crying to her mom, it was the best mother-daughter moment I think that they've had. Kim, what'd you think?
I don't know. I guess the two of them together, perhaps. But I did like when she was home maybe last time, and she was watching her mom be happy with Jack. And I felt that she was really touched by that. In this moment, I felt like, you know, maybe it was good mothering, even though we'll get into the mom.
Right.
So we kind of already have in the previous episode we did. I think because of the stuff we were saying in the previous episode about our suspicions about the mom made me very suspicious of the mom. So it was hard to be like, touching.
Jamie, you haven't been on before. What do you think about the mom?
Oh, I suspect from day one. And I like Jack. I am Team Jack. I think that he's just a dope. I don't think he is anywhere smart enough to be a mastermind. He just wants to be a stepdad. He read those stepdad books. And I totally agree that I really love the moment where she smiled at them, like kind of having their moment. I think that was the best. I agree with that. But this was a nice scene. But I also think at this point it was just so obvious that she was bad that it's hard to connect. But there's also the element of like it feels like a real mother-daughter relationship because they're not always smooth sailing, and there's even once she confronts her, we'll get to that. I think they're still going to have some tenderness there because it's her mom.
Yeah. Alex.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It was like I want to know what happened between her dad dying and this where it got jagged and rocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously, like they were close when Dad Bishop was alive, and then something seems to have gone off, and I feel like there's a lot of just like missing time and space there because I'm just like I don't get like I know like it's like my mom is the whole like. My mom is very rich and she doesn't care about me that much anymore, which we've seen kind of like played out on like Gossip Girl and stuff. You know what I mean? And like, are they using the Gossip Girl house? I'm not sure, but it looks like one of the Gossip Girl houses. But I feel like I'd like to see some more there.
That's totally fair. Kim, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I'd like to rewatch the opening of the whole show. Because the dad, for whatever reason, struck me as suspicious in the very beginning. I guess they were kind of frantically talking about something as the city was being destroyed around them. So I wonder,
interesting.
Not just what happened, between then and now, but also like what the dad's relationship to all of this may have been, if anything. But yeah, what were you going to say, Jamie?
Oh, I think that that mom took the opportunity of that attack to push dad out of a window or something. I think she killed him in that moment.
Oh, wow.
So to think that he was suspicious too, that's interesting. I kind of like that. They're all bad, but I don't know. I think she killed him.
Oh my God, she used the Chitauri invasion to kill her husband. Like, way to girl boss that moment.
Like, girl boss the Chitauri invasion. Jesus.
Like it was like, oh well, no one's gonna notice. Let's do it.
I mean, she's not incorrect though, right? So then we go to what is the next scene? Oh, so then
Maya and Kazi, we have a brief moment between them where Kazi's dressing her wounds.
Right. I keep forgetting that we don't know her name. She hasn't been referred to as Echo at all in the show, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, right. So I keep forgetting that because I keep just in my notes, it's always just Echo. Okay, so I have a hot take about Maya. I know that, Kim, I don't think you agreed with me, and I don't remember what you thought, Alex. She's starting to go into Sylvie territory where I'm getting annoyed at her, like, frustration over her revenge, over her, like, not willing to see what's right in front of her. And I don't know, like, it's starting to, I'm like, ooh, do I not like her? Like, I think she's a good character, but like a character that is like a character that maybe is frustrating to me, if that makes sense.
And that wasn't resolved for you maybe by the end of the episode?
No, because she didn't feel like she actually believed it. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll get there, but it's like the constant, like, oh, you capture. I mean, I also forget that Kate Bishop is in her 20s. Like, because I think of the Young Avengers as like all 17. I'm like, oh, you captured a child, but she didn't. She captured 22-year-old. But like, you know what I mean? Like, she captured these people and she was like willing to torture them just to find Ronan, and like her father, like, you know, worked for fucking Kingpin. So like, no shit, you're dealing with like shady shit.
I mean, but if you're dealing with shady shit your whole life, it doesn't come off as shady, right? Like that's just your life.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. Jamie, what do you think of my hot take?
I think like what Kim said, I think in the end it kind of gets resolved because of the conversation that she has with Kazi, and I have some thoughts about that we can talk about more when we get to that point. But I agree, because I do find it frustrating when it's very obvious that there's more to the story. Kind of like with Yelena. I think right now her motives are very clear and I understand them, but I do hope we get to a point where she sees that Clint isn't a bad guy, but right now she is kind of talking sense. So you know, everyone has their motives,
right? Even
I think maybe with like being able to, we know everything, right? Like we not everything. I mean, Ian and I obviously know everything, but you know, we know way more than they do. So it's really hard to watch people when you know something to be true and they refuse to believe it, even though it's right in front of their and everyone else's eyes.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I guess sometimes that's like, that was a reason I didn't like Sylvie in Loki. And like, as soon as I started to like her, they went backwards. They're like, nope, she's gonna kill Kang anyway. And then I was like, oh, now I don't like her again. So I guess with like shit like that, but also like Maya's not like ending the timeline by seeking out revenge. So it is a little different.
Well, I think too, like we gained some sympathy for her. So in a way, it's hard to watch her, like, you know, be on such a destructive binge.
Yeah. And I was trying to figure out, they are just friends, right? Her and Kazi.
Cousins? ?
That's what I was like. Are they related? Are they?
I feel like he's in love with her, but she doesn't have time for that.
But Kazi said uncle. And I know that people call aunts and uncles who aren't blood related, but still.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kim, I'm Uncle Ian to your child.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I feel like they put that in the show so that we would be like, oh, okay, they're cousins.
Well, and someone did point out, I forget who it was, but you remember someone who was on for an episode pointed out that in the credits, when Maya got her flashback, there is a young Kazi role in her like martial arts studio. So like she has known him her whole life.
Yeah.
So I guess technically they could be actually related.
I feel like uncle is just what people are calling him, though.
Yeah.
I don't think he's anyone's real uncle.
Yeah.
But this is making me rethink how I was viewing that relationship.
Right, yeah, because I was also thinking about how, so she was a kid when that happened, right? Like she was younger.
Like a teenager-ish?
So I'm just wondering like what the age is here, because then she asked Kazi why he wasn't there. And I'm like, wait, but would he have been old enough? And I don't know.
I think so, because they show her like going up to her dad's body when he was dying, and she looked about the same. And timeline wise, if it's happening towards the end of the 5 years when he was Ronin, it wouldn't. Yeah. My guess is it would have been like a year or two ago.
Right. I forgot that it was Ronin, so then it couldn't have been that long ago.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we get to what I'm sure we would all agree is one of the best scenes of the episode. Kate goes to her apartment to get her stuff, and Kim, who is there to greet her?
It is Yelena. Alex, how'd you feel about this scene?
I mean, I'm an easy sell. But I mean, my question to you guys is, do you think the accent works for her, and is she making it work? And is it a testament to Florence Pugh that she makes it work, or is it something that I wish we could change? I don't know. Let me know.
Jamie, I want to know your hot take on that.
On the accent?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's great. It doesn't bother me. It's a little harder because, like, she's actually Russian, whereas, like, when we've got Elizabeth Olsen doing a Sokovian accent, that's, like, made up. So it's easier to just say, like, yeah, well, that's the accent because it's not a real thing. I don't really know any Russian people, like, that I've talked to, like, a ton in my life so that I can compare to. But she's just so good at everything she does that, in my mind, it's like, oh, it's perfect. She has no flaws ever because she's Florence Pugh and she can do no wrong.
I think it kind of sounds like Lady Gaga and House of Gucci. Like they both have the same accent, and I'm not quite sure if it's like if Lady Gaga's Italian is that bad, or if Florence Pugh's Russian sounds Italian. I'm not quite.
Listen,
but
Alex,
they're very similar.
Not to little monster you, but I will say I agreed that her accent just sounded like Natasha, Boris and Natasha, but someone did some Lady Gaga fan account did like a side-by-side of Patrizia talking and Lady Gaga talking as Patrizia, and it really is how that woman sounds. Like, she does have like one of those weird accents that could be Russian, but is not. So it is fairly accurate, albeit still cartoony. But Kim, what do you think of the accent?
It doesn't bother me, but I'm not bothered by things like that unless they're really obviously bad.
Yeah, I'm a pretty easy sell on an accent.
I just want to know, like, if we're having Florence Pugh in the MCU for the next 6 years and 6 movies or whatnot, right, or whatever, does she have to have an accent like that for the next? Like, they let Natasha just be
that's true,
just, a generic American accent, and it seems like a lot easier for Scarlett Johansson. I kind of feel like it would be, you'd probably see more range, you'd probably unlock Florence Pugh a little bit more if you didn't have to put her in that accent. But again, though, anything she touches, I love. So
she's got all the bangers. Like, all of her lines in this scene are I had to stop writing them down.
Kim, same. Like, even her first, I was charmed even just by Kate throws the hot sauce at her and she grabs it and smiles and is like, hi, that was charming. And it's the thing, and I've said this before about Kate, the thing I like about both these characters is that the MCU doesn't often let their lady heroes be jokey shit talkers. It's usually the Star-Lords and the Iron Man and the Ant-Man that get to be the jokey, shitty, confident ones. But now we're getting 2 women who get to be that, and they're having this moment that was a very good scene together.
Academy Award nominees.
2 Academy Award nominees.
2.
It was so tense and funny at the same time.
Yes.
Yelena had Kate speechless, which we're not used to seeing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good.
Right? We as the audience know that's not normally how Kate is. So that's what made it so much better, right? We know that normally Kate is joking her way through this shit, but Yelena was legitimately scary to her. Understandably so, but
this is why both of them have jumped to my top 5 favorite character list, because we don't get a lot of funny women in the MCU. We have characters like Darcy, who I love, but it's they're little sidekicks. Now we get women who are badass and funny, and it's very refreshing. Give me funny women and give me evil women, and this year has delivered heavily on both.
Jamie, I have said this before on our Hawkeye episodes, and I know that you're also a big Buffy fan. I think that the reason I love Kate Bishop so much is not 100%, it's not 1 for 1, but Kate very much is a hero in the style of Buffy. And I think that's what I love about her so much, where she's snarky, and even if she's anxious, she's gonna talk her way through it. Buffy was definitely a little bit more confident. But they are both she just feels very Buffy to me in her line delivery and her snark.
Yeah, I like that. I hadn't thought about it. I think she's kind of like a Buffy who's not gonna fall down a melodramatic boyfriend hole. Yeah. But I would love her to fall down a melodramatic girlfriend hole, but I don't see that happening either. But I do. I hope that you're not right in the sense that I want Kate to keep her kind of girlish charm and not be totally wrecked by trauma like all the other people in the MCU and Buffy. Yeah. But I do like that comparison a lot.
That makes me happy. I was I want to know what another big Buffy fan thinks.
I mean, I do. That is it. I mean, she is a little wrecked by trauma because her dad died. Maybe because her mom pushed him out the window.
Maybe. Allegedly, Alex.
Allegedly.
But I also wanted to know what everyone thought. Was Yelena just this is a visit? This is literally just a visit, or was Yelena almost like a cat playing with its prey?
I don't think Yelena wants Kate to get hurt.
Right? I don't think so, right?
So I think that this was a warning. I also think she probably didn't have anywhere else to go, and she, as we find out, really did her homework on Kate. And probably maybe had been following her, so knew the apartment. It was just kind of a convenient place for her to stay. So she probably, I'm making a lot of this up, obviously, but this is what I thought happened. She was like, okay, I'm just going to hang out here till she comes back here in a limited amount of time. And then if she doesn't, I'm just going to go kill Hawkeye. But, gave her this wants to give her a fair warning and maybe connect with her on like a, you're a badass and I'm a badass sort of way.
Yeah. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think that she's, I think she likes Kate. And I'm excited to see where that goes, very much. And I think that like she knows she's got the upper hand, and that she can scare the shit out of her. But I also feel like, I don't know, it was just cute. Let's make some mac and cheese and be BFFs. I was ready for them to have a slumber party.
Right? Yeah. Like I loved that. Like. Herb saying how delicious it is, and Kate being like, yeah, I know, boxed mac and cheese is delicious. Like, it was just very charming. Alex, what did you think?
You mean like the interplay, or like whether it was like a warning?
Whether it was like a warning or...
Yes, obviously it was a warning, because she leaves the room and is like, hey, don't get in my way. I feel like like Yelena knows like who her mom is, and she knows like there's a security company that will come after her if something happens to her. And so I do think that there's a little bit of like, yes, we will do this. And I think it's also like a very widow thing to do. You know what I mean? Like there's always like, even like when Scarlett Johansson, I think in Ultron, when she's like, when she plays Natasha in Ultron, and there's like this whole like interplay of like, I'm gonna kick your ass and you don't know what's gonna happen, and it's just like, oh my god, like there's a little like cat and mouse there. So I think there's a little bit of an echo, look at what I did there, of that kind of behavior. So like that very like coy, but also like, this is part of my plan. It might seem goofy right now, you just can't piece it together yet.
That's fair, yeah. Kim, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, having seen Black Widow, I wonder what the scene would be like had we not. So we need this scene maybe for people who are watching this and don't know who Yelena is. And then we need Kate to find out that she's Natasha's sister. So there's just a lot of exposition that happens in this scene. So, we can speculate on the reason why she's stopping by, but narrative wise, it's necessary.
You know what? And I don't know that we could have had two more charming characters to deliver an info dump, but it works.
Because it didn't feel like one.
Yeah. I think the fact that Florence Pugh can sell with an accent, whether you think it's good or not, can sell this like info dump while also kind of threatening Haley Steinfeld, and like, it's still enjoyable. Like that says a lot, right?
Yeah, like I laughed out loud.
Yeah,
multiple times, twice that I've written down in my notes at least.
And like I love when she's like, "Are you done? Are you done? Okay, good." And then dumps the hot sauce on the macaroni and cheese.
So good.
And like, I also believe that she was asking Kate for recommendations when she was like, "What do you think I should be doing?" And Kate's like, "Well, the High Line." Like,
yeah.
Did you all catch? I did not know this. I only know this because I read Brett White's Things You May Have Missed every week. That when she says the new and improved Statue of Liberty, apparently in Spider-Man No Way Home, like in the trailer, you see that the Statue of Liberty is like under construction in the MCU because they're like adding Captain America's shield to her, that she's holding it.
Yep, that's it happens.
All right, Alex has already seen Spider-Man.
You heard it first here.
But apparently there is a glimpse of it in the trailer, which I had not realized. Yeah, I don't know. Because I was like, that's weird that she says new and improved. I wonder what joke that is. And like, what is it? She mentions like super powered reindeer. I was like, I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, they're talking about eating reindeer.
Right. And she's like, have you ever eaten it? And then she's like, I've never had the pleasure. And she's like, oh, it's tough and chewy.
I do love that she thinks of Rudolph as some kind of like bitten by like a radioactive spider. That's why his nose is red. Or like bitten by a radioactive clown, I guess, because clowns have noses. But Yes, I do think the lost in translation works for her. And like, it's like, you like Rudolph. This is what Rudolph is to me, a former assassin who never really had a childhood. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the super powered reindeer that everyone follows.
And so I couldn't remember who it was, and I meant to look it up before recorded. I love the bit of, you recently walked into traffic to save a dog, which is pretty cool. The way she says pretty cool feels like, I think it was, and this is why I like didn't know what to Google. I think it might have been someone doing Miley Cyrus on SNL who would say pretty cool a lot, and that's what it sounded like. Question mark? I know that's very vague. But so the part I do really want to talk about is Yelena's pissed that her sister didn't get credit for saving the world, right? And like, I would be too, right? Like, my heart hurt for her. I was like, she's right. Like,
I mean, also, do you think she knows what happened?
Yeah,
like,
I'm with Alex.
I hadn't thought about that.
Like, do you know, does she know, like, yes, there was a soul stone, and then, like, is there an Avengers tell-all or podcast where they were like, this is what happened when we went to Vormir, we went back in time, Natasha did this, and like, we had to get the soul stone, we don't know how to get her back.
The Avengers, the Avengers came on Starfest 98.
Yeah, and then Captain America returned the Soul Stone. We don't know why, but he just did to Vormir and like to Red Skull, and that must have been weird.
I have a feeling that Clint did not detail to people exactly what happened on Vormir.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he would.
And I have a feeling Yelena is pretty fresh from being blipped. I don't know the timeline exactly, but I
think it's 8 months later.
Yeah, I don't think she's getting good information from the people that she's getting information from.
Wait, I'm taking that back. I think Hawkeye actually might take place like 2 years later. I think that Hawkeye is later than the other things are, but I could be wrong. But I think that's what I read.
Wait, I read
he's
this
like in 2025.
Yeah, and earlier I was like, I'm great at the MCU timeline, but Hawkeye is confusing because I think Hawkeye takes place a lot later than WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Wait, yes, I actually have that in my notes. Not in my notes, but Brett White wrote about that in his article, specifically saying because of the Statue of Liberty that means this has to take place when Spider-Man takes place, which is Christmas of 2024. That's like the Marvel timeline here.
Got it. And so, like, were they just, again, this is like silly, but like, did they see all the Eternal stuff happen? Like, like, did they know that just big old hand came out of the water and like all these like weird people showed up, or no?
Maybe they also thought it was boring, so they just ignored it.
Oh.
Wah, wah. I'm sorry, don't get mad at me. TikTok got very mad at me in the comments about the Eternals. Give me the math, Kim. Neither of us are good at math, though.
Blip is 2018. 2018 plus 5 is 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 2024, then it's been about a year, but also months aren't necessarily a whole year. So
right. Yeah. So yeah.
Don't I get applause for my math?
Very proud of you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just it's just weird that this is basically exposition done in the most charming way. And you know, when Kate says collateral damage, like there's bound to be collateral damage, and she's like, is she collateral damage? Like, I understand what Kate is trying to say, but like maybe don't say that to the sister of someone who died. Like,
yeah, well, she's just repeating what Hawkeye told her, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Those are Clint's words coming out of Kate's mouth, for better, for worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think what's kind of great about this is you also see like a glimpse into the future a little bit of like, this is how the legacies of like Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff will go on with like Kate and Florence Pugh or Kate and Yelena. I just want to call her Florence Pugh all the time. But like, I do think that there are really fun little tethers there and fun little threads there of like, this is how this character will live on and what kind of spirit they'll live on and what kind of relationship they'll have. It might not be the same one that Hawkeye and Black Widow had when in previous movies and previous like iterations, but I still think there's something fun there into carving out a new dynamic between a Black Widow and a Hawkeye.
Yeah, I agree. And like, great, we've gotten this dynamic and I love it. So give me more of it, right?
Yes.
So we also get that scene is cut up into two, but we also get Clint going to Grills. And Jamie, Alex, I want your opinions on the LARPers. Because I like them. I know some people don't love them.
I don't care. I honestly do not. Give them the uniforms. Let's get out.
I think they're cute. Because I think we're all here. I know I am because I'm a big old fangirl, and I know what it's like to like really be obsessed with dumb shit and like imagine you're a LARPer and now Hawkeye's in your house. I think it's like a cute way to recognize fandom and what it's like, and I like that they're all like not being obnoxious about it. I like that Grills is cool and helpful and sweet. He's not like fawning over Clint, and I enjoy that.
Yes, that's Jamie, you just put but that's like exactly what I said the first episode. Like it wasn't Big Bang Theory. It wasn't mocking the nerds. It was just like, hey, these are the nerds. And like showing, of course they have jobs and like they do other shit, but like this is like their fun thing. So yeah, and I like that. Alex and Jamie, have either of you read the like Matt Fraction run of Hawkeye?
I have not, but I've read a lot of synopsis.
Alex?
I have, and it's very true to a couple of the storylines. But I think like with like the Fraction and I can't say his last name. Is it Aja?
I thought. I don't know.
I see. It's one of those words that you're just like you see on the computer all the time, and you never like hear.
I know.
Loud.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, what was great about there was that a lot of it is like a lot of character building and a lot of relationship building and a lot of banter and I think a lot of relationship stuff. And that came first versus like the bigger plot at hand. And I think all the jokes are very like land very well. But yes.
Well, the only reason I asked is because I've been slowly rereading like the entire, like I had only read, I think the first two trades and then like random parts. But I bought at my work, the like giant omnibus of like the Kate Bishop and Clint Barton saga, where it's like the whole thing in one. And I literally just read before watching this episode, the issue where Grills dies. And I was like, I hope they don't kill him in this. I mean, he's a totally different character. Like in that, he's more like he's like a older to middle-aged white dude who like gets shot by the character that Kazi will eventually probably become. So I don't foresee that happening, but I like was more sad about it in the comic because I kept thinking of this guy and I was like, oh, I don't want that guy. But I like that he has this support system. I mean, I do keep thinking, and I know like reading comics, this is just a thing, right? But I just keep thinking, like, doesn't he have like one Avenger he could call? Like just one? Like, can he call Falcon? Can he call like someone to be like, hey, there is some terrible shit happening. I need help.
I feel like he's just really embarrassed about the whole Ronin thing and is just trying to clean it up as quickly as possible without reminding anyone that knows he was Ronin that he was Ronin. I mean, how many people, Rhodey, I think, knew, Natasha knew, but I don't think a lot of people know exactly what he was out there doing.
Yeah, that'd be like so embarrassing if you had to like call up Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and be like, yo, I kind of fucked up and I just kind of like went a little crazy. I killed a bunch of people of color, even though they were bad. Like, and Marvel told me they were explicitly bad. So could you help me out here? And she'd be like, no, I'm doing planet stuff. I'm helping the Skrulls, and they need to be like, I'm helping these intergalactic refugees. Please find someone else. Like,
calling up Brie Larson. Yeah, so we get the like, oh, the new costumes are made, which I guess we're really holding out for the last episode. Which I mean, again, we will get there by the end of this too. We're holding out for a lot. So we find out Eleanor, Kate's mom, did call the police on her himbo boyfriend because she said she looked into it and whatever Kate said was true, right? And he's still even like, I mean, Jamie, right? He is a dum-dum. You said it earlier. He's still like, don't worry, I understand, but I didn't do it, so I'll clear my name. Don't worry. Like,
he says, bless him, doesn't know he's been set up by his own fiance.
Yeah.
He says, I've never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
So good.
So then Clint goes to the memorial, which I liked little shit like this. Like he goes to that memorial where it says the Avengers first assembled. And that's not something we've seen before, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. I like that. I liked seeing that. And I liked that he was like talking to Natasha there. And so he calls his wife again, which Alex, what's your theory on who she is? What do you think?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think she is who they're protecting in the Rolex, or?
I don't. I never really thought about. I never put that together. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
Jamie,
I have big feelings about this.
Okay. Well, we talked about this on Twitter, but tell everyone.
Yeah. So I know that people think she might be Mockingbird, and there's like a lot of back and forth about this because, you know, us diehard Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans don't want this to mean that that the Mockingbird that we know and love doesn't exist. But like, there's a million Black Widows. There can be multiple Mockingbirds. I have, as a TV fan and a continuity fan, I struggle with that theory because I like the idea of Laura just being this really supportive, cool lady that doesn't need some crazy background. But as a Linda fan, I want to see her kick some ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the idea just because it could mean we could see some cool shit from her because she deserves it because she's awesome. So I really don't think that they're gonna give her that title, but if they would, I'd be into it.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
so,
I just thought she was just a cool supportive mom. Like she has been ever since they camped out there and was like and had little Natasha or little.
Alex, if you remember, she's never left that house. So the theories are like it could be she's like that's her like hiding out. And that's why she didn't go to their New York like play and dinner.
Well, wow.
Because I did think that was weird in episode 1, but again, it's like, is it because of COVID? You know, with COVID, it's like who could they get when? And like she does have other stuff. May Whitman. Or not May Whitman. I did this last episode. I mix up May Whitman and Linda Cardellini all the time, and I don't know why.
Weird. That's really weird.
They are two celebrities.
Mix up Third Eye Blind and Matchbox 20. So
it's the same
thing. That makes
right?
a little more sense.
Yeah, that does. But okay, so he talks. He calls her. They just like talk about. I kind of thought he was going to explicitly say, like, I'm not coming home for Christmas. Didn't you guys?
He can't. He has to go home for Christmas, Ian. This is the whole show. I said this last week.
Agreed. There's nothing I love more than like Christmas action, and like the Christmas part of this is very ingrained, and he's got to make it home for Christmas. That's the whole point, I think. I agree with Kim. It's like it wouldn't be set at Christmas if he didn't have to get home for Christmas.
When we talked last week, if Clint Barton didn't make it home for Christmas, I'm going to have words.
I agree.
But so he, he leaves a message Kate leaves him 1,000 voicemails, which I love.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, did y'all watch 30 Rock when Liz Lemon like leaves of 1,000 voicemails about her apartment that she wants? But so Kate leaves him a bunch of voicemails being like, I need to tell you about stuff going on. But then we see that he like shoots that arrow through the tracksuit mafia's like windshield and tells Maya to meet him in the place she met Ronan. I thought this action scene was like very good. What do you guys think? Jamie?
Oh, yeah. Him, like, subtly taking them all down.
Yeah.
Into it. I love that kind of stuff. I'm just so here for it. And it was cool, and there's the added layer of knowing that Maya can't hear. So like when these, she doesn't notice that they're gone until she looks and sees that they're gone. And I think that's like an added kind of layer of terror, and that's what makes her also very badass. She's very cool, and capable and awesome. But yeah, the fact that like don't underestimate this man. He may be getting up there, and he doesn't really want to do it anymore, but he's still an Avenger.
Right. Yeah. Alex, what do you think of the scene?
I liked it. I mean, I do love the anytime. Ew, I can't believe I'm praising Hawkeye. Disgusting. I hate being like, well, actually, he's a good fighter. And I'm like, was he? Has he been? He just shoots bows and arrows the entire time. Yeah. Does it make... Listen, at the end of Endgame, I was like, why is this mediocre white man still alive? Versus, like, why did we trade Natasha for him? By the end of this episode, and when he kicks a little bit of butt, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't dislike him that much. Maybe like this whole entire series has been like a slow build from taking like the bars on the floor to maybe like it's now like I might be okay with Hawkeye.
I appreciate that you're taking a big step here and admitting this, Alex. That's big of you.
I've never hated Hawkeye, but I have been dealing with Hawkeye fatigue in terms of both Ultron and Endgame gave us moments where we thought he was going to die and then someone else died instead. And it's like, I'm sick of it because I'd rather him would have died. But now I'm like, oh, but the show, it's all worth it for the show. Yeah. And I'm like back on board.
Yeah.
Why did they kill my Speedy King for him? I
don't know. I appreciate... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I appreciated this scene because, as someone relatively new to the MCU, I'll admit it again. I like almost forgot that he was such a good swordsman because he was Ronin. Like that wasn't like big in my mind. Also, I think I'm right about this. So correct me if I'm wrong. Maya is where she saw her dad get killed? ?
Yes, that is correct.
So that's huge in terms of like the weight on this fight.
That's like fucked up.
And like the weight on this scene and like the weight of like him revealing himself. Like I think that the setting itself adds a lot of. I said weight. I'm going to say it again. Adds a lot of weight. Adds a lot of power to the scene for me. And Ian, like fight scene, like whatever, like I can go either way. But I think like the emotions that were built into it really did it for me.
Could you imagine getting like the note that's like, meet me where I killed your dad?
God. Meet me where I killed your dad. LOL. Bunch of hearts.
See you at 7.
I do like how much they've like shown us that she is a badass, right? Like I do like that, I kind of was like, ooh, like she actually does kind of win, right? If Kate hadn't been there, she probably would have killed him. And I did like that Kate, Kate, she's like very modern and smart and like knows how to do shit that like Hawkeye being like, we say grumpy old man, but like really, it's not like he's like 80. He's, probably 15 years older than us, Alex, right?
Wow, what the fuck? Meet me where I killed your father at 7 p.m. Ian.
But like, like Hawkeye is like, oh, you tracked me again. She's like, yep. And then he's like, and how do you plan to get? And like, she's already called a lift. Like, I love that. Yeah. Like, yeah, she called a fucking lift. That's how you're getting out, dummy. Like, and I love that.
I love that the lift guy was like Tabitha. Like, I don't know, that just really got me.
Yeah, she's stealth. She knows how to do it.
That's like when I lived in New York, I changed it to my middle name for all my Lyft and Ubers because so many people would say Lamb instead of Ian. And I don't know why, but they'd be like,
that's
Lamb.
Weird.
And I would say, oh no, Ian, but yeah. And they'd be like, no, I'm here to get Lamb. I'd be like, no, that's me. You're reading it wrong. Like, it's Ian. So I changed it to Carlos. So whenever they pick me up, they're like, Carlos. And I'm like, yep, that's me. And I literally just did that to so many people who are getting my name wrong. And like Carlos, like, no, then you can get Carlos wrong, right? Or maybe you can, I don't know. But yeah, Kim, I like that detail of like she even gave the wrong name. And she's like, yep, that's me. Let's go, Clint. Like, and he wouldn't have thought of that, right? Like that wouldn't have crossed his mind.
To call a lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not like a Hawkeye move.
And then so they go back to Grills. They have a cute thing with the dog. And Kim, what text message? Or wait, so we watch, before they go back to that, we watch Yelena, who is in a really great outfit.
Oh my God, that outfit. Like, right? Buy it for me for Christmas, please, because makeup and all, I want like a Yelena stalking Eleanor outfit for Christmas Eve. Thank you.
I feel like she mugged like a Bushwick girl.
Well, it's so funny because like the way they styled her in that post-credit scene when she's visiting Natasha's grave was like very clueless, but it's almost like they're definitely like giving her a fashion sense, right? Like, because the outfit she was wearing when she goes to Kate's apartment, and then the outfit when she's stalking Eleanor, like they're all like a very specific fashion sense. And I love that they're giving that because, you know, like Wanda was soft goth in Age of Ultron, but then in like WandaVision, she just, you know, wears hoodies. Unless she's in a TV show, then she's wearing, you know, fancy whatever outfits from that. But like, we don't, and like Captain America, yeah, he wears hot workout guy outfits, but like out of their superhero drag, we don't often normally get their like fashion. And I liked seeing that like she does have kind of like an eccentric Kim Southwick fashion.
Well, thank you, because I was going to say Gwen Stefani, so you just paid me a high compliment without even realizing it.
Well, early Gwen Stefani, we should say, Kim.
Yes, true.
Yeah, no, I loved her look there, and yeah, you could totally pull that off, Kim.
Thank you. We do, though. We can't skip the scene with Kazi and Maya.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like kind of right before.
I want to ask all of you.
Best outfit of the thing.
Do we think it was Kazi or the villain at the end that was the reveal that turned her dad in?
So it's funny because the earlier Kazi scene in the episode, I literally said out loud, I was like, they can't be taking a clown route with him because he doesn't seem evil in any way, shape, or form. He's gonna murder people. And then this end scene, it's like, oh, okay. He clearly, I don't think he necessarily killed the dad, but I definitely think that he knows Fisk ordered it, and I think that his loyalties, he's loyal to Maya, but he's more loyal to Fisk, I think, is what's going on. And I'm curious now, is he going to turn super evil?
Right, yeah.
Because he doesn't seem like it, but now after that moment, you know he's not totally good.
Right. Alex?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think he was ever. I don't think he was ever good. Like you could. I mean, yeah. You're part of a mafia. Like, how good can you be? Can one be in a mafia? In I don't know. But I do think that the whole idea of like being like loyalty, we're measuring goodness against loyalty. Yes, I do think that you expect him to be loyal to Maya, hence good, but also like, oh, well, maybe he's not as good to her as we think.
Kim?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one that knows next to nothing about all of the things that everything is pointing to, but just from the acting and their conversation, I think that his like contemplative look after their conversation kind of proves like he might be that guy, and he probably is the one that turned kind of what she's accusing him of without directly accusing him of it.
Do we think she dropped it because she was like, oh, he's lying? Like, do we think that's why she dropped it so quickly?
Either that or she doesn't want to find out that he is.
Yeah, I think she's keeping it in mind, but I think she wants to believe him. So I think that it's like she's not 100%. So I think that she's circling the idea, which is why, from what you were saying earlier, I do think that she's going to come around and understand that Fisk is the main, or sorry, we haven't talked about him yet. He's coming.
Yeah.
The main villain.
Yeah, I mean, we could be there, right? Because then they're at Grill's apartment. They have the cute moment with the dog. And then she gets the text from whomst, Alex. And what does it say?
Yes. Who I don't remember the exact text, but basically like, lol, it's your mom. Like I know. I figured out who hired me. LOL, it's your mom. LMAO. Like 400 more emojis. Probably because Yelena loves an emoji, and I just feel like that's not like it'd be true to her character that she have like a lot of weird like crazy face, but the crazy face emoji.
I would love that though if she did that. Yeah, and who is it that her mom is dealing with, Alex?
Oh my God, it's Kingpin! Woo!
Vincent D'Onofrio.
My large adult bald son.
So the thing I want to go back to, like Jamie, when you said that like maybe he's more loyal to Kingpin, I almost feel like maybe it's not like he's more loyal. It's just like Kingpin was like legitimately terrifying in those Daredevil seasons. So it's I almost wonder if, but this could just be me projecting because Kazi is so handsome. Like he wants to keep him and Maya safe, so he's not going to tell Maya, "Ooh, Kingpin did the thing," because he knows that Kingpin would just like murder Kingpin does not care, right? If Maya was like, "Well, I want to kill Kingpin," Kingpin would just be like, "Everyone who deals with her is now dead." Great, and that would be that, right?
I like that thought. That he has a little bit of a kind motive.
But I might be reaching, Your Honor. I know I might be.
He really is giving us the impression that he's a nice guy throughout the entire show, right? And like either that's the con or like he's a nice guy.
Yeah, because it could be the con. He just has kind eyes. I can't have another man let me down.
Also, he's really
at least
cute.
We knew from the beginning Jack was suspect. But not actually suspect. Yeah, that's what I meant. But I said the opposite.
What were you saying, Alex?
He's really cute.
He is, right?
He's handsome. He's a lot better than who did you not like before?
Oh my God. You will never let me live this down. It's not that I didn't like him. It's that I thought that Simu Liu was handsomer than the guy that played the dad.
Oh, this our beef goes way back.
Oh my God! You think Simu is hotter than Tony?
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't agree. Tony is a timeless, classic, handsome. Simu's attractive, but I'm with Alex here. It's Tony all day.
Yeah, and especially when you compare it to like everyone that Ian has ever liked on the show, and he's like, well, it's like this skinny white guy, and I think he's so cute. And you're just like, ugh. And then you're just like, you can't appreciate Tony Leung's like beautiful, just like his hair, his cheekbones, his stare. Like, I have never seen like a Marvel superhero getting like eaten up in his own movie by his dad. Like,
Jamie, there was like a whole good like 5 to 10 minutes of everyone in the episode just like dragging me for that.
Oh no! Well, Frothy is a good choice, and he is gay. The guy who plays Kazi is gay in real life. So.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Jim, there's a chance.
Oh my God!
There you go. It could happen.
Oh my God! Even Ian is finally correct in one time. Ian is correct.
Listen, dickhead. So I go back to what I said earlier. I wish we had gotten that Kingpin was the like villain behind it all a little bit earlier. Like I just wish, like, you know.
But don't you think
that's never gonna happen, Ian?
For those of y'all that like knew this stuff, like you already knew it.
But I mean, someone like you, Kim, great. So you're a very good person to ask. You never saw the Netflix shows, right?
No.
So, like, does this mean anything to you? Like, him being the villain, that doesn't matter, right?
I mean, I only even knew who he was because of y'all. So it's hard for me to, like, being on the pod.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to comment because I was expecting it. And I knew that he was, like, a big bad.
I don't know. I guess I just, like, I want, like, I don't know.
I don't mind that he's coming in this late, but I am a little sad that like his triumphant return is a blurry phone photo. I kind of wish it would have been like Vincent, like even if it's just like him sitting at a desk being angry looking.
I knew
that was my kind of complaint.
Yeah,
I guess like we also like, so I'm with Kate. Like, I don't know who that is. You know what I mean? So if you're just watching and you don't know who it is, like at least you know as much as Kate does.
this is where my brain is, Jim. When you just said, I'm with Kate, I was like, no, it's Jamie, not Kate. Oh, wait, you mean the character.
Please confuse me for Kate Bishop anytime.
Yeah, I don't know. Alex, what do you think?
What do you mean? Like, is it a cool reveal or is it like...
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like your complaint that you wanted Kingpin in like episode, what, 4, 3? Will never happen, but because that's the way Marvel paces itself. It's always like even in like all the movies, there's always like the twist is like from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to like everything. There's always like the last minute twist that the bad guy isn't the real bad guy. And so, yeah, I feel like,
but when it's that twist, like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a good example. The dad is in the whole movie, though. Like, it's not like he blips real quick in the end, like, hoo-ha, I'm the villain.
Well,
like,
it's supposed to be like the mom has been in the whole movie, right? Like Kate's mom is like, she's been in the whole series, and that was supposed to be like,
I guess, that's supposed to be the...
That's supposed to be the, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not if you're already believing that she pushed her husband out the window during the Chitauri invasion.
I guess like too, like, yeah, that's a great point. Like that is the reveal for those of us who are watching the show and don't have all of the other knowledge. The Kingpin thing is just Kingpin. I'm not even trying to say that again. The thing with Kingpin is like extra for all y'all who do know the stuff.
Right. That's fair. Because I guess, like that's just like, oh yeah, that's the big boss because Hawkeye says he's the big boss that he's been worried about.
And or like lead into future insert name of Marvel thing here.
Right. Yeah. Jamie, I gotta ask you, because I know, Kim, you haven't watched the Netflix shows. How do you feel about the Netflix shows coming into the, like, officially being in the MCU? What would be, if you could have one character brought back, who would it be?
Well, Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is the only show I finished. I'll admit it. What makes me happy about this is that if the Netflix people can come in, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people can come in.
Right.
So I'm thrilled because all I want is some Daisy Johnson in my life. So I'm here for it. But if we're just picking Netflix, oh my God, I would kill for some more Jessica Jones.
Yeah. I gotta say, I always held out hope, but I always felt like it was like, Ian, that hope, it's not going anywhere. You're getting your hopes up. They're never coming back. But getting this reveal, so Alex, how do you feel about the Netflix folks coming into the fray? And
is that you?
Sorry, it was me.
Okay.
Netflix folks coming into the fray. I don't care. Like, I'm fine with how Jessica Jones ended. I like, great show. I mean, my thing with like her is that where do you put her in the MCU? Is she just doing street level stuff? And like maybe if you build out like a street level team versus the giant cosmic heavy hitters, like maybe that would be kind of cool. But like I was talking with Ian and it was just like, yeah, like the detective stuff is really fun with Jessica Jones. And I think that like being like a place for her there and like maybe like doing minor things on like a minor level would be really fun to see. Like maybe she doesn't have to punch Thanos, but like she could go like punch, I don't know, Kingpin again, or like a smaller villain. Because like it's like, are you really like what use is Jessica Jones with the Avengers if you have Thor there? Like she's
really strong.
Yeah,
but she's not like Thor strong. I mean, come on.
Strong.
Come on.
Okay, wait.
Come on. Let's be honest.
Alex, we're gonna fight here because I do feel like I like the idea of building out these more street level heroes that aren't like having to fight. But that's for me, that's what like her use would be. Yeah. Is like my ideal though, because I'm not big on romance and shipping in most things. Like usually that's like this podcast was mostly a Buffy podcast, and anytime people are arguing about the ships, I'm like, I am bored with this conversation. I don't fucking care. Like, I love the show because I love Buffy. I'm not going to argue about her boyfriends. Like, I don't fucking care. I love when she's with the person and she loves them, I'm like, good for you. I want you to be happy, is how I feel about who Buffy is dating. But I will say Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are one of the few couples in the comics, especially straight couples, that I genuinely love. So I would almost love if they got to appear again and all right, time has passed. We can just say, look, yeah, and they're married now. Sure. And I think that would work too.
Alias is one of my favorite comics, and I would love to see more of that. 100%.
Yeah.
I also love I don't know if you read it, but there's a special issue. There's a special comic issue of when Emma Frost goes and visits Jessica Jones, and it's just really kind of great. And I think that kind of interaction of just this superpower, this very high level superhero asking Jessica Jones to do some kind of nasty, dirty stuff that she doesn't really want her fingerprints all over is kind of fun. But I mean, I do think, that I do not think that Jessica Jones is as strong as Thor or the Hulk. But I do think that at a smaller level, if you're going to build out a street level Avenger, she'd be great. And it'd be great to see some Netflix people, just not Iron Fist, because who needs that guy?
But I do want to see Colleen Wing. I did like her.
Okay, well then you can just kill off Iron Fist. Be sorry, he just fucking walked into the ocean. You know what? Eleanor Bishop pushed him out of the building during the Chitauri invasion too.
All right, so now that we're at the end, what was your favorite scene, Kim?
I'm gonna choose the scene between Yelena and Kate with the mac and cheese.
And we are all allowed to have the same scene. Everyone always has
good. Thank goodness.
Jamie, what was your favorite scene?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? I literally my jaw was on the floor when the two of them were quipping back and forth. And my boyfriend looked at me and he goes, "This sure wasn't made for you." Because I was just in awe.
Alex?
The cold open. They went into a random white lady's house and were like, "You're definitely a Black Widow," and she's like, "Oops, I'm not." And it was I'm just doing widow shit on my own. That was kind of funny. I wasn't brainwashed at all. Lol.
I did really like that because I was glad that not only did she say, "No, I wasn't brainwashed," and yeah, I killed people for money. That's how I have this house. But also it was just "Oh, cool. Now let's sit and have snacks."
I want to know more about this lady. I want to know where she bought all her furniture from, how much did it cost, how many, I want her to look at each piece of furniture and be like, you know what, this was the Budapest job, or this was the Tokyo job, and she's like, do not get stains on that. I had to do something in Paris for that. Give me more of this. What was her name? Anna,
yeah.
Give me more of her. I want to know more about this rich white woman that's a Black Widow.
Yeah, I would say that it is a close tie between them eating macaroni and cheese together and the cold open, because both were fantastic. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you all for listening. If you like,
do we not grade the episode?
Oh, you're right. Let's grade it.
Do we not do that anymore?
Sorry,
it's been a while.
My brain is still mush from being sick.
Do we still do that? We don't have to do it.
Alex, what grade do you give the episode?
A+. Florence Pugh, A+.
Kim,
without Florence Pugh, probably an A-.
Kim, what grade do you give the episode?
I'm gonna go A.
Jamie?
Oh gosh, A. I'm not gonna give it a plus because it didn't have a ton of action.
I give it an A as well. All right. Now, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other corners of the internet. You can support us on Patreon, where you get access to all our bonus episodes and all our Harley Quinn episodes, which we haven't put one out in a month, but we will be finishing out season 1 this month. And if you like us, you can follow us on social at SlayerFestX98. If you want to follow me, I am at ENXCarlos. Jamie, where can everyone find you?
I am at Jamie Cinematics on Twitter and Letterboxd.
And Alex, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Vox.com with a V, and I'm also like on Twitter, Alex_ABADS. But Twitter is a hellscape, and I always say that all the time. Twitter is rotten, and it rots your brain. So just use Twitter for jokes.
Yeah. I mean, it rots your brain, but also like we have that brain rot by now, Alex.
Oh no! Stop.
Kim, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Twitter at Kim and Joe South.
All right, cool. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.